The Muppets are a group of puppets that Disney acquired in the 90s. Created by Jim Henson, these furry creatures have been bringing delight to children and parents for 70 years. With the release of the new Idea Man documentary on Disney Plus, I thought it would be time to go over the lost media surrounding the Muppets. So first, we gotta go back to 1955, when the Muppets would first start with NBC. Sam and Friends was a public WRC TV channel show that ran between 1955 and 1961. It starred Sam, the only humanoid puppet of the show, and his lovable friends. Due to the limiting recording of the time, many episodes of Sam and Friends that were recorded do no longer exist. Around 900 episodes were filmed, even though this is unknown. If you do the simple math, then it will give you the answer. The surviving episodes that we have that are available in the Museum of Moving Imagery in New York, as well as the Jim Henson exhibition in the Center of Puppetry Arts in Georgia, are C-Bomb, Chef Omar, Glowworm, Luna, Where Hunger Is From, Huntley and Brinkley, Under My Skin, Poison to Poison, Powder Burn, Singing in the Rain, At Old Black Magic, Visual Thinking, The Westerners, Weather Warehouse, The Yellow Rose of Texas, Yes We Have No Bananas, TikTok Sick, The Countryside, I've Grown Accustomed to Your Face, and the final episode. Some episodes that have clips are several clips from several episodes do survive. There is a playlist on YouTube that comprises of the music and radio shows that they performed on the show. In 1962, Jim Henson thought he would create a pilot for a new TV series after his first show, Sam and Friends, had been off for a year and he was doing various commercials such as Wilkins Coffee and SK Meats. The pilot that he came up with was called Tales of the Tinkerbell, and each episode would be narrated by Kermit as the minstrel. The King's Minstrel, I should say. The main plot of the pilot is where it is the princess's birthday, and everyone in the kingdom has been invited. That is with the exception of Tamanella Grinderfall, the wickedest witch of them all. She breaks into the party with her caveman / roommate or whatever the fuck, henchman, Charlie, which they steal the presents. In the end, though, however, the king gets her confused with his daughter, and ends up forcing her to eat all the peanut butter sandwich that they place. All 67,000. For many years, the pilot was not available as it was never released on DVD, and no VHS tapes were able to record at the time. The only way to actually access this show, unless you lived in New York, was through the Museum of Television and Radio. However, in 2014, someone ripped off the episode and posted it on YouTube. Not wanting to give his chance to create a TV show up, Jim Henson 2 years later created another show called Land of the Tinkerbell. The show was similar to Tales of the Tinkerbell, however, it was more similar to Fraggle Rock as it contained a live-action host with his dog, Rufus, I believe his name was. Yes, Rufus. It's a very short pilot and is simply just him rambling on about random crap. For many years, this pilot was never released, and only on YouTube for a short while there was only a 4-minute clip. However, in 2021, someone ripped off the entire pilot onto YouTube. Muppet Puppet Plays is a documentary created by Jim Henson in 1968. It is essentially where him and Frank Oz explain how their puppets are built, some of how Jim's original puppets were built, explain how to perform with them, and they show you how to create your own puppets at home. The main, taking random household objects and turning it. For many years, there was virtually no way to watch this documentary, as only a short clip was available on YouTube, and it was not released on any DVD releases or any VHS releases either. However, in 2023, Greg Shimon, who is a Sesame Street writer and works at the Sesame Workshop, found a VHS copy on eBay. He uploaded it to YouTube, and now the documentary is fully available. From 1957 to 1969, Jim Henson got his main work through commercials, creating characters for 10-second long adverts such as Wilkins Coffee, SK Meats, Choi, chow mein, and many other commercials. It is difficult to estimate how many commercials Jim Henson produced, as not all of them are available on YouTube. And some of them are available, but in foreign languages. I would be here all day if I tried to explain every single one of the missing commercials. However, what I will go over is one set of commercials that Jim made for a company. They were called Encore Frozen Foods, similar to, as this was during the time of the boom of TV dinners and frozen foods. He used a little blue Muppet called Anki, who would promote them. 3 commercials were made of these, however, one commercial is not available on YouTube.
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Sesame Street is the world's longest running TV show in the US, airing on PBS since 1969. With spanning over 4,626 episodes, it is no wonder that Sesame Street has also had a few missing episodes. The 2 most famous missing episodes from Sesame Street are episode 847, the Wicked Witch episode, and Snuffy's parents get a divorce. In the episode 847 aired in February of 1976. In the episode, the Wicked Witch of the West drops her broomstick in Sesame Street, and it lands in the hands of David. She tries to get it back from David, however, David will not give it to her as she is being rude and ungrateful. She thus threatens the entire inhabitants of Sesame Street, threatening to turn Big Bird into a feather duster, David into a basketball, and making it rain inside Mr. Hooper's store. Everyone in the town fears her except for Oscar, who develops a sort of crush on the witch. At the end of the episode, the witch gets her broom back by tricking them by making her think she was a sweet old lady. The episode had Margaret Hamilton, who was best known as the role of the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz. The episode was broadcast shortly after Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street's rival, had brought on Margaret Hamilton for a special episode of Mr. Rogers to explain to kids that just because someone looks terrifying doesn't mean that they are not. However, this was completely different and ended up terrifying many children. The episode would be shortly pulled from broadcast afterwards. Due to this, Snuffy's Parents Get a Divorce was supposed to air in April of 1992. However, it was pulled from it after extremely negative test audiences with mixed receptions. As kids who watched this thought that if they watched this, their parents would not love them anymore, and there would be the reason, which is what many kids believe. That they're the reason their parents got divorced, which is never true. It's the parents' fault. It was supposed, however, it was pulled from air and replaced with the season 16 episode that aired in 1981. I meant season 12, not season 11. In 2019, both of these episodes had clips found due to them being shown at the Museum of Moving Imageries in Queens, New York, for Sesame Street's 50th anniversary. In 2022, the entire episode of the Wicked Witch episode would be found and uploaded to YouTube. However, Snuffy's parents is still partially missing, as only a few clips are available. Despite this, Sesame Street is missing a total of 53 episodes in total. I have a list. So the seasons that have missing episodes are Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 5, and Season 8. 2 episodes from Season 1 are missing, which is Episode 12 and Episode 105. Season 2 is missing 23 episodes. Those are Episodes 146, 155, 157, 164, 180, 202, 214, 231, 232, 233, 234, 235, 238, 239, 240, 241, 243, 246, 248, 259, 261, 262, and 270. Season 3 is missing 25 episodes. These are episodes 277, 279, 283, 284, 285, 286, 288, 339, 345, 346, 347, 353, 360, 361, 362, 363, 364, 365, 366, 367, 369, 379, 395, and 401. Season 5 is missing 2 episodes. Those are episodes 563 and 576. And Season 8 is only missing 1 episode. That is 996. An additional 11 episodes are partially missing, as they only survive in a black and white film copy after originally being made on 2-inch color videotape. Those are episodes 199, 237, 291, 294, 298, 305, 380, 385, 389, 397, and 401. Various segments of Sesame Street are also missing. Some of these segments have been found over the years, however, they are either in low-quality VHS recordings or foreign dubs, such as
Sesamstraße, Barrio Sésamo,
شارع سمسم.
Several segments that are missing are Cookie Monster demonstrates a way. In this segment, Cookie Monster demonstrates a way from by putting a cookie on a plate and walking away from it. Grover's Ropes and Bells, which is essentially just Grover pulling ropes and different bell sounds are playing off. There is a photo of this. Let's go to that. Monster Opera is an unaired sketch which was used in a dream sequence for Bert and Ernie in one episode. There is a behind-the-scenes photo of this. We'll go to that. Starship Surprise, which is a season 21 sketch, which is like an alien science fiction type sketch. This also has a photo. We'll go to that. Among many others. Several other clips that are missing are Carrot Time, That Makes 3, No Sign, What Makes Me Happy, Triangle Intro, Bert's Portrait, Ernie and Bert's Healthy Life, Bert and Ernie's Ice Cream Experiment, Bert and Ernie's Music and Reading, Bert's Newspaper, Bert and Ernie's Car Ride, Bert and Ernie's Reading and Exercise, Bert's Paperclip Collection, Bert and Ernie Up and Down, Cookie Monster, Food Investigator, A Cheers, AMK Cheers version 3, AM Mother and Daughter at the Zoo, The Drama of the Poor Little Milkmaid, Post Office Song, Figure Skater, and Riding on the Train. Additional 5 episodes also survive in German dubs. Other episodes might also exist in foreign languages. The episodes that exist in the German dubs that I could at least find in a foreign language were episodes 202, 239, 246, 261, and 270. It is also possible that many other clips can resurface due to them being used in other episodes. As one clip, which is called Nobody Counts to Four, Nobody was a character that Jim Henson created, was used in episode 199, which survived in black and white. However, a color clip is available on YouTube, most likely meaning that the clip was resurfaced or used in another episode before the original color copy went missing. So yeah, the search is still ongoing and Sesame Workshop is working with them. However, what is not apparent is that there was no apparent use of the BBC practices that were used, such as Doctor Who and many of the other BBC shows where they were intentionally destroyed. They were either misplaced or there was an event or tragedy that happened at the children's television workshop which caused irreparable damage, such as a fire or a flood. Sesame Workshop is working on trying to get every single piece of Sesame Street lost media, and maybe one day they might surface. We'll just have to wait and see. After the success of Sesame Street, Jim Henson was working on creating another show called Tales from Muppetland. In 1971 and 1972, Jim Henson produced these two specials that aired on NBC, which were retellings of classic fairy tales, including these were The Frog Prince and The Muppet Musicians of Brennan. The Muppet Musicians of Brennan is not lost. The Frog Prince, on the other hand, has only a few clips online. This was remarkable as it was the last time that Jim Henson would use Tamanella Grinderfall in any Muppet production, and this would also mark the last time that Jerry Jewell, the writer of the Muppets, of many of the Muppet TV series, including many of the episodes of The Muppet Show, Fraggle Rock, The Muppet Movie, other Muppet movies, would perform as the actual puppets before he switched over to the full-on script writer. However, only a few clips are available from YouTube videos that use them. An example of this was a guy who no longer works on YouTube. He did Muppet character evolutions. He did a video where he used the clip of the Frog Prince, which showed Sweetums, as he was doing a voice evolution on Sweetums. Moving on. The Land of Gorch was a SNL skit that the Muppets performed in the first season of the Muppet Show. Of SNL. Due to the creator of SNL, he kicked him off due to the characters he was thinking that they were taking them away from the actual episode. Out of these, only one clip is available on YouTube, as it was uploaded by SNL. None of the other clips are available on YouTube from the episodes. Around this time, Jim Henson was also working on many variety shows at the time. Now, most of these variety shows do have the clips of the Muppets featured. However, not all of them have them. Now, there are too many to count, so I will only go over a few of them. One example of this was when Jim Henson for the first time performed Miss Piggy on The Tonight Show in 1974. In this clip, Miss Piggy, along with another character who would become retired, known as Hoggy Marsh, they would lip-sync to Louis Prima's That Old Black Magic, which he had previously used on Sam and Friends. This no longer survives, as I have looked on YouTube for a clip of it, or the segment of it, of the episode of The Tonight Show. However, it either pulls up Sam and Friends, or the episode of J.P. Morgan from The Muppet Show, which also used many other clips from Sam and Friends, reperformed. Another example was an unaired interview of Jim Henson in 1979. For many years, this was unavailable until around a few months ago in early 2024. Someone uploaded this of the interview on the YouTube. In 1975, Jim Henson created his second pilot to try to greenlight his own puppet show that would eventually be rejected by the US, as ABC, who created the Muppet Show, had worked on this. It was called Sex and Violence. In the pilot, it is essentially the form of the Muppet Show. However, instead of putting on a variety show, they're trying to put on a pageant for the 7 Deadly Sins. There are many differences from the original Muppet Show character in this. For example, instead of Kermit being the host, it is the conductor of the Muppet Show named Nigel, who is shown in the Connie Stevens episode of the Muppet Show. Also in this, another episode that was used on this was, this was the first appearance of Statler and Waldorf and many other characters, such as Dr. Julius Strangepork, which was used in the Pigs in Space sketch, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, and many other characters. However, CBS was unhappy with the special and it went unaired for many years, only airing once to the executives and on TV for late at night. This would eventually get Jim Henson in his first big break of trying to show a Muppet Show that was not exclusive to kids in SNL, which we will get to in a moment. However, for many years this clip has never been available on YouTube. There are clips of it in a playlist that shows them, however, not all the clips are present, as the introductions to the characters where they're telling them to get ready for the thing are missing, including envy, greed, gluttony, trying to think here, and that's all in envy as well. However, all of it is available on YouTube except for those. Many other things that were switched from this as well were the performers, as in Statler and Waldorf. Statler, who was performed by Richard Hunt in The Muppet Show, was performed by Jerry Nelson, who did Floyd in the Electric Mayhem, along with that's all I can think of now, but Jerry Nelson performed him. So then there was also different was the Swedish Chef, as instead of it was Swedish, however, instead of it being like the that type of thing, it was trying to speak fluent Swedish. There were also Japanese subtitles at the bottom of it. Also, Frank Oz, who did the Swedish Chef's hands, did not do them in the who did him in the Muppet Show did not do him in here. Instead, the hands of the Muppets of the Swedish Chef were done by Richard Hunt. Another thing is that Dr. Julius Strangepork was also the first featured here. However, instead of being the kooky German character that he was in the Pigs in Space sketch on the Muppet Show, he is more the villains in a clip, which is a ripoff of Planet of the Apes called Planet of the Pigs. He is like Dr. Zaius in Planet of the Apes. Miss Piggy, on the other hand, is also not performed by Frank Oz. She is performed by Fran Brill, who was the first female Muppet performer, she would also do Janice in this as well, before Richard Hunt took over for Janice. Another character's name that was changed, it was Crazy Harry, in the Muppets Valentine special, which aired before this, which was the first Muppet pilot, she has performed. His name was switched to someone called Crazy Donald. In this, it switched to Crazy Harry. Anyway, moving on. When the Muppet Show first came to Disney Plus, fans noticed that there were several things missing. However, we will go in order, as Disney Plus is far from the start of the Muppets missing content. When the Muppet Show was first airing between 1976 and 1981, it was shot in the UK for ITV, which is a UK broadcasting corporation. Due to this, segments had to be cut out for the US broadcast, mainly one segment, as the episodes tend to be 2 minutes longer than the US counterpart, as this was due to the UK simply having fewer advertisements. Around each year, around 50 contents per season were not available and were only available on the original UK broadcast. When the Muppet Show came to DVD, several of these segments were cut back. However, this includes many of the clips that were missing from it. As with not only that, but also several of the bonus features, including the original CBS pitch reel, as Jim Henson had switched over from ABC to CBS to try to promote his show. CBS was unhappy with it. In it was called, for the pitch reel, the scene that ends off as the news spokesman that they did. However, what originally happened in the original film reel, which was stated by many of the people that worked on it, Jim stated that as Kermit, that the extended scene, there is Kermit, and that he says, What the hell was that? Because he was like, what is this? It's not like the show's like phenomenal. It's not like it's going to change the world. Anyway, and also in talking about this, when they on DVD, Disney did not release seasons 4 or 5 onto DVD, and only released seasons 1 to 3, which made up about 60%. This is also missing a few of the clips. Now we get into Disney Plus. When the Muppet Show first came to Disney Plus, fans noticed that several things were missing. So I will go from each order. Season 1. For the first few weeks in the US, the episode featuring Kay Ballett was not available. However, Disney has since fixed this, and it is now available, and Season 1 is the only season of The Muppet Show that you can actually watch in full. Now we move on to Season 2. Season 2, 2 episodes were altered. The ones that were altered was the Don Knotts episode, which was the season opener. All clips from Lullaby and Birdland and all scenes referencing it were removed. And episode 12, which featured guest star Bernadette Peters, and had 2 clips missing. This included They Call the Wind Maria and I'm 5. Aside from that, season 2 is available. Season 3. The Cheryl Ladd episode, is missing the segment, There Is a New Sound. And in the UK, the Spike Milligan episode is completely missing, which it doesn't make sense, as this episode is available in the US. However, Spike Milligan is called the Godfather of British comedy. The Danny Kaye episode is missing the UK spot called Jogging, and if you're wondering what I mean by UK spot, I mean the clips that were removed from the original broadcasted US episodes. And the final one that is missing is the Roger Miller episode. In the UK, it is missing Down at the Old Bull and Bush, and in the US, it is missing the segment Dancing on the Ceiling. Now moving on to season 4. In the UK, the episode featuring John Denver, which was the season opener, like with Don Knotts, is completely missing in the UK. And the Anne Murray episode is missing the clip Dancing on the Ceiling. Season 5 is the most incomplete. Season 5 is missing the UK clip Bird Walk in the James Coburn episode, Tippy Tan from the Tony Randall episode, If I Rule the World from the Hal Landon episode, Lullaby in Gibberish from the Wally Borg episode, A Transport of Delight from the Buddy Rich episode, which is the UK spot, and the Sesame Street theme, and the Sesame Street gang appearance in the Marty Feldman episode. Now, those are all the clips that were missing from the episodes that are available on Disney+. There are 2 episodes from Season 5 that are not available in any country on Disney+. The episodes that are missing are the Brooke Shields episode, for unknown reasons, which I don't understand why. And nobody can really understand because Disney has not given a statement for it. It is believed to either due to the fact that they were using Alice in Wonderland or something else. However, it is not available, which doesn't make sense because Disney owns Alice in Wonderland, which is what they featured. However, the other episode, I can give an explanation, and this one will permanently ban. The Brooke Shields one, maybe it could be uploaded maybe sometime in the future. Maybe Disney Plus might say, yeah, we're fine with that. We can upload it. But the Chris Langman one will be permanently banned, and I will get to that in a minute. Chris Langham was in season 5 of the Muppet Show in season 19, in episode 19. Now, the reason is that this one I believe is not available. It's because a few years ago, Chris Langham was caught with CP. And I think you all know what CP means. And due to this, I don't think Disney wanted to upload him because he is a sick monster. Not any pun intended. This one will probably most likely be permanently missing. However, someone has uploaded the episode onto YouTube. When Jim Henson's Muppet series Fraggle Rock came to the UK, segments featuring Doc and Sprocket were replaced with someone known as the sailor who lived in the lighthouse. Sprocket remained the same, however. The captain was a completely different character than Doc, as he was a lot more blunter and meaner than Doc, who was the original U.S. host. In the early 2000s, there was an intense search to try to get the episodes of the U.S. released onto DVD. However, that cannot be said about the UK. The UK, I believe ITV it was, tried to getting in contact with the Jim Henson Company, which had several of the episodes on film. However, in 2020, all the episodes would be found. However, only 29 of the episodes are available in the original UK broadcast. Are available in broadcast quality. Several clips have been uploaded to YouTube, but only featuring these segments because nothing really changed from the episodes aside from these clips with Doc and Sprocket. In the late 80s, Jim Henson was working on a sequel to The Dark Crystal after creating Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal. However, with The Dark Crystal 2, it was much darker than the first one, and most likely either due to Henson's passing in early 1990. This and the contents of the first one, it was not suitable. Scribbles to Screen did a wonderful video explaining The Dark Crystal 2 and he did a YouTube short where he talked about the original, where he reenacted a scripted scene. Here is that clip. Shout out to you, Scribbles.
Here's an actual scripted scene that was meant to be in the Council Dark Crystal sequel.
You wouldn't eat Fizzgig? No, never. Dear little fish pig. How could I? You might want me to hold your little fuzzbug for you if you two want to mate. Not with you around. Don't mind me. I'll just watch. I've heard it's quite a sight.
In 1992, Disney released The Muppet Christmas Carol, the first Muppet movie not directed by Jim Henson and also not featuring Jim Henson, and also not featuring Kermit as the lead role. When the movie was released on VHS, Laserdisc, and DVD for the full screen edition, fans noticed that there was a scene that was not available in the original theaters. This is the scene towards the end where Scrooge first interacts with the Ghost of Christmas Past, and it's a song number called When Love Is Gone. The reason this clip was removed from theaters was because Brian Henson, who made the film, thought that it was too sad and heartless to keep audiences' attention and not the way that the Muppets would. However, before the movie was released in the theaters, Brian Henson made a copy of the scene, and it was released on, as I said, VHS, Laserdisc, and the full screen edition DVD. However, the reason it's not available on Disney Plus or later DVD editions is because Disney lost the original copy of When Love Is Gone and is only available in lower quality than the scaled version. For our final segment, I thought it would be right to do Jim Henson's London funeral. Henson had passed from pneumonia in 1990. He was 53. Jim had two funerals. The first one was in New York for his American audience, and then in the UK it was switched, and then one in London for people who enjoyed him in England. Many clips of the New York, almost the entire New York is available on YouTube in low quality VHS or in high quality. However, there is no footage of Henson's London funeral. However, it is basically the same thing, just in a different in a different location. However, it is the same no matter what. So, I mean, I'm not saying who cares about it, but I mean, it wouldn't really matter if we got it, because we're basically just watching the same thing. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, check out my post notifications so that we will know when I make future videos. I love you all so much, and bye.